A nice morning at Emerald Downs, Thursday, March 26th. Plenty of action on the track, including 8-year-old Devilish Fact for trainer Rigoberto Velasquez. He was going well at the end of last season.
Great race for second, but not for the win, because this was a foregone conclusion all the way. Devilish Fact by 5, soft 7.
Devilish Fact worked a half mile in 50 and 2/5 seconds. Lady LaDuca posted another workout for trainer Bonnie Jenny. The undefeated daughter of Sloodle-Doo went a half mile over the fast track in 49 and 4. Eyes on the prize may be one to test Lady LaDuca this season. The daughter of Pure Prize was 4th in the 1-mile Shinpo Stakes last year as a maiden. The Frank Lucarelli runner timed out in 51 and 1/5 for a half mile. Handicapping in thoroughbred racing is weighing data in a given race toward the goal of picking a winner and making a successful wager. Here's a look at the tools used in handicapping by a few professionals who picked the races at Emerald Downs. Victor the Predictor Cozzetti started in the early 70s and has evolved with the times. He's had a radio show for decades, but now has his own website, predictorsays.com. He's well known at the track for his in-house television contributions as well. He's here at Emerald Downs every day for the races and describes his routine when watching live.
After watching so many races over the years, that if you've made a wager on a horse or if you picked a horse, I can normally know by the half-mile pole whether my horse has got a chance or not. I watch the replays. Well, I watch the replay right after the race. And then sometimes I'll go home at night on Comcast. Our replay show is ready to go, and I'll even go up there if there's something I really want. Or the next morning, I'll go and take a look.
Cozzetti's a trip handicapper, making many selections from horses that didn't get their best chance to run in a previous race due to a poor start, racing wide, getting blocked, etc. So doing post-race work is key.
The first note that I make is on my daily program, for the day. But then occasionally, what I'll do on that Monday or Tuesday when I've got plenty of time, I'll go to Comcast, go into Comcast and pick up the Emerald Downs replay. I'll spend an afternoon going out. Once I got the trip notes made, then I'll put them, I take them, I mark the program, then I'll go to my computer and I go to Excel and I download my trip notes, and then I'll delete some and then add the new ones.
The predictor spends a lot of time on his craft.
Oh, well, what else is there to do? Except baseball.
As far as handicapping, the daily racing form is his starting point.
I open up the racing form. The first thing I do is I don't look at anything in the front page. I turn to index to entries. I take my trip sheet here. I go right down the list, and here's the markings. I'll mark this horse is coming to the run of the day, this horse is running of the day, and I'll make these notations. And I'll also put up there, or I'll go to the program, I'll say, well, late, and I'll make a notation on my program, the horse, and so I'll remind myself when that race comes up as to what happened to that particular horse. And another thing too, earlier I'll pick up stuff earlier sometimes that they might not catch. Not so much breaking out of the gate, but a little bit of a brushing early, or getting steady just slightly, because sometimes that makes a big difference in a horse's momentum. It breaks their momentum. Handicapping wise, yeah, this is my game. I'm a trip handicapper. And I can say, trip handicapper and who have they ran against. Look for that key horse, that key race.
He's always been into closing fractions of horses, those who finish races well. He taught classes based on the concept for many years.
Day one, teaching handicap 101, to me, closing fractions that's the ultimate. There might be a trip horse, there might be a couple trip horses in there, or maybe not even trip horse, but two horses in a race that are pretty much equal. The next thing I'll do is I'll go down and I'll do the closing fractions on those two horses, because they're from different races. They might be from different tracks, but I'll try to use a ratio and find out just how fast they were closing. And that gives me a good indication, and that will sway me as to which way I want to go. So trip handicapping, closing fractions, who they've been running against, basically that's about what I use.
What's something in the handicapping mainstream that Cozzetti doesn't use?
Well, I don't use buyers. I mean, I've never been a buyer, man. When the time that the buyer figures are the same for every racetrack, because every racetrack is different. Now we've got the synthetic surfaces, so they're all different. In fact, I have more faith in looking at the old racing form figures as to how the track was that day and using the variant that day. I have more faith in that than I do the buyers. And you watch, they are far more reliable, far more reliable.
Cozzetti makes a selection in each Emerald Downs race for his service, but gets excited when a horse on his list pops up.
I may have a bad memory for some things, but when it comes to, I can tell you when a horse got in trouble.
Joe LaDuca has spent over 30 years in the local thoroughbred industry with the WTBA, Emerald Downs, and in recent years as public handicapper for the Morning News Tribune of Tacoma. LaDuca watches the races live every day at the track and still applies the basics of handicapping that he learned many years ago.
I'm out here as much as I can. You know, 4 days a week we race when we start, and I'm out here every day. And it's important to see races live because the form can only give you so much. If you see something, you know, watch the races with your binoculars, sometimes you'll see something that happens between calls that isn't necessarily documented in the racing form.
The daily racing form or some type of past performance service is a must for handicappers. It's not only the previous races listed, but workouts, breeding, trainer and jockey info, and much more.
The important one is the daily racing form. It supplies the most information, the past performances. So what I look for in a daily racing form is speed, class, and trainer jockey combinations. Speed is very important. When you see a lot of ones there, you see that a horse has speed. How the race sets up, if you see a lot of horses with speed, you might look for a horse that can lay close, come from off the pace. But class is important too. When you see a horse dropping, he's in easier company, supposedly, and should give him a better chance.
Like Cozzetti, LaDuca perks up when a horse finishes a race particularly well.
I like to see a horse that closes. One of the things that I really focus on is when you see a horse finishing, like the comment from the racing form will be past horses, improved position, which shows to me that the horse is running at the end, which is really important. I think they usually come back and run good.
LaDuca also knows the breeding angle well for his years in that end of the business.
Breeding is very important in thoroughbred horse racing. I was the editor of the Washington Thoroughbred for 27 years, and I used to study breeding. And you know, there's sires that throw horses that are precocious, that run fast, that run quick early. Other sires throw horses that come from off the pace, that are better closers. So it's important to study breeding, and especially in young horses. Another thing is to go down to the paddock and look at them. You know, you can sometimes tell if a horse looks fit or not fit, or you know, and how they're acting. You know, so there's a lot of things involved. But going to the paddock is a good thing for handicappers to learn and go look at horses.
There's a saying that statistics don't lie, and LaDuca applies race meet stats.
You always check the jockey statistics. Who's hot? Who's the leading jockey? The trainer statistics. Who's the leading trainer? Up in the, if he's having a good year, some trainers go through cycles where they get hot, they get cold. Same thing with horses that go through cycles. But there's a lot of different things to look for. Jockeys have agents just like movie stars have agents. The jock's agent's job is to get his rider on the best horse. So a lot of the times they do a lot of the work for you. I mean, you know, if there's a race with 6 horses and the 3 leading jockeys are in that race, most likely they'll be on the best 3 horses.
Thanks to experienced handicappers Vic and Joe for sharing their insights. More handicapping pros in our next preseason pass. A new jockey this year at Emerald Downs is Karen Kishfaluti. New she is, Karen's never ridden in a recognized race. She's up from her Southern California roots, where she started learning the trade at age 16 under guidance from trainer Jerry Fanning.
I worked for McAnally and mostly Jerry, and when I started working horses, they were working so good, and it's just been in my blood, and this is my dream, to be the best, you know, the best I can be at what I love to do.
She's happy to be here and looking forward to her career getting underway.
I like it up here. The weather's different, the people are nice, but so far I'm enjoying it. The horses are all working good, and I like it.
Smoke and Passion had a huge season last year, using her speed to win 5 of 6 starts. The 5-year-old by Petersburg is in the barn of Robbie Bays. Sharper Eagle has won here at ages 3 and 4 and is getting ready in the barn of Craig Roberts. The full brother of Exclusive Eagle worked 48 3/5 to get one step closer to his first start of the season. Opening day is coming up Friday, April 17th.